Good afternoon. Welcome to Fishing for Bees, 4:45 in the afternoon, April 15th, north of Grand Rapids. So we're getting to the point where there should be a lot more available in the environment as far as resources. And if you've followed me, I try and avoid feeding. It's a fine dance between needing to feed them and not needing to feed them. But right now, I'm not trying to push these girls too quick with this early spring that we're having. So, you know, one of the things that happens when you feed them, these brood nests, I'm sure, are really big. Need to get these quilt boxes off here soon after this little cold snap we got in the evenings. But I don't want to feed them a ton of sugar and keep boosting these colonies too fast, get them into swarming and everything else. It's just not something I'm trying to do right now. So I do want to feed them enough, obviously, that they stay alive. I didn't even take a peek inside of here. I know from my other yard that these fondants are probably pretty low or gone. We got a lot of orientation flights out in front. But again, I'm not trying to put their weights up like you would in the fall to get them into honey production super fast. Certainly I'll take the crop, but I'm just not ready for it right now. And I'm concerned that if I do feed them too quickly, too fast, that the populations are just going to be too huge before the peak of the honey flow, right? So I don't want them peaking before the honey flow and then have to keep feeding them to try and build up these bottom boxes. So we're going to slow roll it. I'm not going to put any fondant on today. I'm not even going to check them today, but I still do have the poultry feeder sitting out. Again, this is Michigan. Don't be open feeding in areas where people are in honey production or you're in honey production. There's nobody in honey production in this area. I am not in honey production in this area. So open feeding is fine. I'm not contaminating my own honey crop. I'm not contaminating somebody else's. So I would not be doing this in the next couple weeks. I basically will probably be done with it. This is 1.5 gallons. So it's going to be gone in a couple days. I haven't found it yet, but I'll go ahead and show it to you now. So here you go. It's just a 1.5 poultry waterer, 1.5 gallons, and some marbles and some sticks because for some reason bees are stupid and like to drown. They also will burrow to the flow source, so the spigot, the opening, and drown in that spot. That's why I put a rock and some other things to keep them from trying to enter the feeder. I've had them actually enter the feeder, so that means they'd have to swim past a flow and get inside of there and drown. The other thing that I do is I roll up a piece of screen and put it in that spout where it gravity feeds out. Cram some screen in there. Mine's all rolled up, and I just shove it in there so that they can't get past it. Learn that early on. So again, don't open feed where people are in honey production. This is Grand Rapids, Michigan, early spring, no honey production. So safe to not be contaminating anything. There's no honey supers on, and I never harvest or spin from my deeps in my brood chambers. So we're still open feeding, but we're slow rolling it. Again, I don't want them to build up too fast, and feeding them above them or feeding them on the colony would be exactly that. I guess I'm being cheap. I'm just trying not to buy sugar, keep them alive, and get them into honey production at a safe pace. So that's the poultry feeder with the sugar syrup in it, just 1-to-1 with some Hive Alive. It's basically an insurance policy. If these bees are struggling and not finding enough in the environment to feed their brood, I don't want their brood, or I don't want bees to starve. So I just put an insurance policy out just in case. If they need anything, it's available. It's only 1.5 gallons, as I've mentioned a couple times. It's not going to put on weight spread out over 7 colonies, but it will be a supplemental feed if they need it, just to keep the brood production going and make sure that I don't have bees starving out because there's no fondant on top of these anymore. So that's the plan. We'll see how it works. Thanks for watching. I hope your bees are well.